Hello and welcome to this video regarding the newest BigPicture update to version 8.1. My name is Tom and I will be your guide through this video, during which we will be talking about all the necessary updates that were made to BigPicture overall to the navigational layer, but also to specific modules in BigPicture. I'll show you what was changed and where, and I'll also give you my opinion about it. Before we start though, I just want to mention that Mark My Words company, who has made this video, is specializing in introducing PMO solutions in the Atlassian environment. We are very passionate about this topic and we are huge fans of BigPicture, which we are working with together for the last 5 years. We are helping the customers from all over the world, from all kinds of industries, to either get trained in the BigPicture environment and also get help in implementing BigPicture as a service, which is quite a journey and not everybody wants to do it himself or herself. So if you would be looking for any kind of help regarding that, please have a look into the description of this video to find all the necessary links, or just visit our webpage www.markmywords.pl. All right, having said that, let's jump straight into action. So 8.1 has been released in the early July 2021. It's the biggest update since 8.0, which is a very good news because we have been waiting for something new to appear over here after all the bug fixing that had to come after 8.0. So that's completely fine. And there are some very interesting changes over here. Some of them I really like and I have been looking forward to them. So let me get straight into that. First of all, let's talk about some navigational changes. So you will notice that in the older versions, we had a list of all the modules over here. Nowadays, this area is completely empty because the list of modules has been collapsed to the drop-down. And now you can select the module that you want to access from this drop-down. Of course, the list of modules visible over here is dependent on the configuration of your box. Speaking about the configuration, there is a link to the configuration also over here. So there is a change with this cogwheel and its placement as well. Now you can see some other things that have appeared over here to the right of our modules drop-down. And this question mark button will of course take you to the help for BigPicture and the documentation. This one though is a very interesting one because this one takes you to the administration of BigPicture. So there is a new way of getting there. Previously you had to go here and you had to go to here. Nowadays you just can click this and that. So I don't know, it's not faster, it's just an additional place where you can reach the administration of BigPicture. Similarly, you can also go straight to the app configuration. So this is a place which is only accessible to Jira admins. And again, it's just a new way of getting there, but also a faster one. So this one is actually an improvement because this will take you to the right place with fewer clicks. It's also been added over here. So there's another shortcut for you right there. And the last button that we have over here is the personal settings. So the personal settings contain something completely new, which is a dark mode. If you want to enable the dark mode in BigPicture, well, it's now available. So you can just click here and you get the dark mode. I don't really like this one, so I'm going to stay with the light mode. I prefer this one a lot better. But also what I want to mention is that except just changing the mode, you can also change the kind of main color that is being used by BigPicture. So this one will do some interesting coloring things on the, well, we can see that the issue key on this screen is changing, but it also influences some other things. If you want to, if you're a fan of playing with colors, and surprisingly, at least to me, quite a lot of people are, so I'm getting asked about different coloring features in BigPicture quite often during the training sessions that I'm conducting, then this might be something of interest to you. Another thing that is available here is the access to My Profile. So that's the similar place, I mean exactly the same place as is available over here. So that's just again another link. But also if you want to go straight to managing your absences, then there is a button that will take you over there as well, which is again an improvement because this allows you to get there with fewer number of clicks. And that's not all yet. That's not all yet regarding this screen. because another thing that appeared is breadcrumbs. So now we can use breadcrumbs, and if we are getting into the structure of our boxes, so let me get to the third level of my box structure. So I'm going straight to the iteration 1, which is below PI1, which is below demo project in my case. You can see that the breadcrumbs are now appearing over here. And using these links, I can quickly jump to the context of a different box of my parent boxes, depending where I want to go. And also, I get to the home screen if I want to. So that's, again, another improvement, I think, because previously you either had to go here and here, so that's 2 clicks, or you had to go here and here. So that's again 2 clicks. And now I can do just 1. Yay! 1 click less. And so let me get back to the demo project. And I think the last important thing that is worth mentioning over here is that in the, let's go back to the Gantt view. Let's go back to the Gantt module. In the Gantt module and in other modules as well, where the quick filters are available and filtering in general is available, you can now quickly disable all the turned on quick filters with this yellow X button. An interesting fact, this actually has been here a long time ago. Then it disappeared for, I don't know, a year or something. I have no idea why, because I felt that this was super useful. And now they brought it back. Well, congratulations, we have it back. I'm really happy about it. Now let's actually jump to the app configuration that I've already mentioned before. Again, just to remind you, this is only accessible for Jira admins. So you have to be a Jira admin to be able to get here. And there are 2 new things over here. So first of all, in the custom synchronization settings for a specific project, there is a setting for team code field. So this no longer has to be a global setting. Now you can set it separately for different Jira projects. And second of all, notice that this thing is collapsible now, which means that I can have more entries over here and I can have a separate configuration for all of those entries. What are those entries? Well, maybe you don't know yet, but from version 8.0, you are actually able to import other instances of data in general to BigPicture. So connect other data sources to BigPicture. And so far there is basically only Trello available, but very, very soon you will be able to connect other Jira instances. So that's going to be awesome. That's going to be huge. And then you're going to be able to have a separate configuration for all of those different sources. Now, another interesting place that we definitely need to visit is the, again, app configuration, administration of BigPicture, which is available for BigPicture admins this time. Oh, notice that my BigPicture Enterprise is actually disabled for now, but that really doesn't matter. Let's get into the configuration of a specific box. And what I want to mention over here is that there are some changes regarding advanced settings for the period mode for the box. So now you can not only set the auto bottom up over here and auto top down, which is already pretty cool, but you also get to set your box with auto scope based, which means that basically the length of your box will depend on the items that are inside the box, on the Jira issues that are inside the box. So of course, the beginning of the box will be set as the beginning of the earliest element, and the end of the box will be set as the end of the latest element. That is pretty cool. This is something that I've definitely been looking forward to, so I'm really happy that it has been brought to the tool. And also, another interesting feature is that you can set a default module that is going to be loaded when you access the box. So this is a big improvement, I think, as well in terms of navigation, because previously very often you wanted to go straight to the Gantt, but you were actually taken to the overview, which maybe was the first module on the list. Nowadays, where you can select the default module that you will always be taken to when you select or access a specific box. Another thing that had some changes, actually quite a lot, is the resource manager. So if you go to the resource manager, on the list of the resources that are assigned, if you will have any inactive users, they will actually appear here with an additional label. So you will know that this user is no longer active, has been removed from Jira, has been marked as inactive in Jira. So that's the thing that will help you manage your resources and help you identify people that maybe should be removed from the teams they belong to, for example. So that's a very good thing. And another interesting aspect to this resource manager is that if you access a specific resource, this view has been completely redesigned. So that is a completely brand new look. And in this look, first of all, you get the info about the current assignments of absences, holiday plan, workload plans, and skills on the resource level. So that's something that definitely needed to have over here. But you also have a timeline. You also have a timeline that shows you where these things are applicable from when to when. Because remember that even when you're using holiday plans and workload plans, they can fluctuate in time, right? So on this timeline, you can basically see from when to when the specific holiday or workload plan has been used. But I don't think that's the biggest feature of it. I think the bigger one is actually the absences, because now we can nicely see over here where the absences are scheduled and when the person is not available. The other boxes have been changed as well in terms of their look and feel, but in general, their functionality more or less stayed the same. So you can basically add the absences with the plus button, and adding the absences just as it was before. You select the type of the absence, start and end date, optionally common, and you're done. Assigning skills, similarly easy. Assigning holiday plans and workload plans, similarly as before, just in terms of the navigation, it happens a little bit different, but in terms of the functionality, they stayed the same. And another thing that is worth mentioning in the administration is the update to the workload plans. So now if you access the workload plan, you can see that this screen looks a lot different than it looked before. So we have this sidebar navigation on the left, which allows us to change quickly the name of the workload plan, change the code, the description if you have any description. There is also a completely new thing over here, which is max weekly workload. So this max weekly workload will have to comply with whatever you have set over here. And when you go, for example, below or above it, so let me say 5 hours over here, you will see that now this one is highlighted in orange and it says distributed workload is less than the max weekly workload set over here. So it's telling me that there is something wrong. And of course, if I would go for 12 hours over here, similarly, it will show me that there is something wrong. When I go a lot above or below the value that is over here, it will also quite nicely pulse in red, which I really, really like. And notice that it doesn't allow me to save the plan as well. It doesn't allow me to save the plan with a wrong value. So it's kind of like a guardian of whatever is entered over here. But other than that, the functionality that is available over here of moving these things, extending them. Well, actually, now you can modify the hours only through here, but moving those things in line is exactly the same. So the last thing that I want to mention over here is that there is actually a brand new button over here called Assigned Resources. And this is a place where you can actually see who is currently assigned to a specific workload plan. That is pretty cool because, first of all, it allows you to have a quick look at who is assigned to the workload plan that is that you're editing, so that you know who is going to be impacted by the changes that are done over here. And also, there is a way of assigning the resources to the resource plan to the workload plan over here. So you just pick the resource from the list, you select the date from which the resource will be assigned to this workload plan, you hit the plus button and you're done. And this is actually a little bit faster than going through the resource manager over here. So there is again an improvement to the overall navigation of the tool and how fast you can operate with it. So I really, really like this one. Notice how easy it is also to remove the person from the workload plan if you want to do this from this area as well. Now let's go to the changes applied to specific modules in BigPicture. So we will start with the overview module. So it took us straight to Gantt. That's pretty awesome because that's where we want it to be by default, but we are really going to go to the overview module. And here you can set the row height if you want to. So this is a very similar feature to other places in BigPicture. It just allows you to decide how wide or how compact the rows are supposed to be over here. A second cool thing is that the smart increments while you're creating new boxes is improved a little bit. So to visualize it, let me create a box. Well, actually, this one will not allow me to create a box. So let's create another one over here, and we will say that it's Q1 2022, and it's going to be PI. That's okay. And now over here under this one, we're going to create an iteration, and we're going to say that it's iteration 1 test, right? So you might be wondering, is this one going to be incremented? when I create the next one automatically? And the answer is yes. So this is what has been improved. Basically, the algorithm over here is that the last number in the name of the box will get incremented. So it doesn't have to be at the end over here, because now even if the number is in the middle, it's going to be automatically incremented. And of course, the functionality that keeps the length of the boxes the same, according to the previous program increments, iteration, sprints, whatever you're using over here, also works. So that's definitely a plus as well. All right, let's clean it up. In terms of the Gantt, so let's go back to the Gantt that we've already visited. I think that in terms of the navigation, I didn't mention that the look and feel of this area has changed as well. So they are more like icons nowadays, and also you can very easily manage the scope definition from over here, which will actually take you to the administration of the box. So it's again just a shortcut to the scope definition. Nothing too fancy, but still something that improves the navigation. And also another thing that has changed a little bit is managing column views. Managing column views, that again takes us into the administration of the box, and managing column views now has a new look and feel. So if you get into the details of a column view, you will see that it looks a little bit different than it did before, but in general, the functionality is more or less the same. If you're attending my trainings or our trainings, you will also know that actually coming in here and modifying the column views is no longer a great thing to do, because it's much better to do it from the Gantt itself. And basically, I don't care too much about this view anymore. Another module that got some love is board. So let's go to the board and let's have a look at the changes at the board. So first of all, there is a new functionality connected with warnings applied over here. So you can go to the view, you can turn on the task warnings, and then basically any task that will have a warning will be surrounded by this orange border and will have this exclamation mark over here. And of course, if you click on it, you will be shown what the warning is. So in this case, the task period doesn't fit with iteration 2 in terms of the timeline. And of course, you can align the task period if you want to. There is also another warning that that will inform you that the person assigned to this task is not a member of the team that the task is assigned to as well, which is a very similar warning that we are getting in the resources module as well. So that's obviously something interesting. On the right side, in this so-called info bar, you will also get a separate tab for warnings, so you can find all your warnings over here as well, and of course figure out what they are and try to solve them. Another thing that changed in the board module are the swim lanes. So now you not only get the swim lanes based on teams, but you also organize your swim lanes based on the priority of your tasks, based on the status of your tasks, and also based on the coloring of your tasks. So if you remember, there are quite a lot of people that really love playing with colors in BigPicture, and this might be an awesome feature for them, I guess. Last but not least, there is also a multi-select available now on the board module with the shift button. So now if you select this task and you hold shift and select this task, all the tasks in between going like this will be selected for you as well. Previously it only worked with the control button. Now both of them will give you a multi-select, and of course then you can drag them nicely together to a different area if you want to. And the last small improvement on the level of the board is that when you want to access the capacity planning that is over here, previously you had to be a box admin. Now you only have to be the editor. So even the editors can access the capacity planning and change the things or change the capacity of teams or individuals over here if they want to or if they have to. All right, let's jump to the roadmap, because roadmap got some love as well. The first thing that comes to my mind over here is that roadmap is now workable with the right click. So that's definitely something new. Another interesting thing is that for the objectives, now you can assign associated tasks. So those associated tasks look like this. And basically, you know, the goal when I'm teaching how to use the roadmap, I'm usually telling you that these are actually not tasks, the first level elements that you have here. These are objectives. They're not supposed to be your Jira issues. And then, of course, to fulfill those objectives, you need to create Jira issues that will kind of have to be completed to realize a certain objective. And previously, we didn't have any good way of mapping that, but now we do. So now you can create the tasks associated with those objectives underneath your objectives. So that's a pretty cool thing to have. Another new feature is that you can add now people to those objectives. You can assign people to the objective. So if you go to the details of the objective, you can now assign the owner of the objective over here. There are also some small changes to how these numbers of summaries are counted now, but it's not really too important. Basically, this progress is not taken into account. It's either the objective is completely finished or it's not, and it doesn't really look at the progress of the objectives that are over here. All right, time to visit resources. So resources module is one of the most popular modules straight after the Gantt module. And in this area, there also were some changes, some important changes made. And the first one is that you will notice over here, the alternative scenarios are now available also on the level of the resources module. So not only from the level of the Gantt, but also over here. Basically, the functionality of it is again the same, but you can use it from the level of the resources module. So that's definitely an improvement. Another thing is that if you would be using basic tasks, which are able to be added on the level of the Gantt, then basic tasks are also displayed over here on the level of the resources. You will always find them in the unassigned section because the basic task cannot be assigned to an individual, of course. But one way or another, I think it's important to show them, because for those people that are actually using those basic tasks, they would be missing them here in the resources, and now they will not. Another thing is connected to something that we've already talked about, which is then inactive users. So inactive users are no longer going to be displayed over here as people assigned to the work, and you don't really have to worry about them anymore. And last but not least, definitely something that probably many people were looking forward to. Previously, you could only navigate the timeline that is available over here with those arrows. So you were able to travel by certain periods of time, so either a week or a month, or a quarter or half year with these ones, right? Now you can also set the beginning of the box of time that is displayed over here. So if you don't want to start from the beginning of the week or from a beginning of the month, you can set a specific date over here, like 17th, and then 17th will be the beginning of my view over here. So that is, of course, an improvement, and I'm pretty sure that some of you were absolutely looking for this feature. In the risks module, there is, there are just basically two small changes. So first of all, there is customizable export. You can basically set all the columns that you need over here, and they will be included in the export functionality. Please remember that to do the export, you need to have the big template app added as well. And the second thing that has been added here is just a shortcut to managing scope definition, similar to the Gantt, similar to the scope, because the same shortcut has been added to the scope module as well. Another area that got some love is the calendar module, which is very, very good, because calendar module has been previously in the alpha version, not really very, very useful. Now it's a lot more advanced than it was before. So I'm not going to go into all the details that have been added to the calendar, but basically it became functional. Finally, it became functional. So you can add Jira issues and basic tasks from the level of the calendar. You can go to managing scope definition. You can do some changes in terms of how you're looking at the data. And I think the most important one over here is that you can turn on this mode, end date mode, which basically shows you where the tasks are in terms of their end date, right? So it clears the view a little bit and allows you to identify where is actually the place where the task ends, so that you know that up until here, everything for this task has to be completed. So I really like this one. Maybe not, super useful for everyone, but for me personally, I think it's going to be something very, very interesting. And then, some navigational changes, some way of creating markers over here also in the calendar. And of course, the markers are synchronized across all the other modules as well. So no need to worry about that as well. The right side of the calendar module basically stays the same. So it's showing you which items have to be completed in the upcoming days. For more details about the calendar, you can always visit our video training. We are the only company in the market that actually has something like that available, a full-blown video training with all the modules and all the features of BigPicture laid out to you in a set of almost 30 videos, which you can watch at your convenience anytime, anywhere. just for a fraction of the cost of the live training. So these are all the most important settings or functionalities that have been added. For me personally, I think that the changes to the layout that are visible in basically all the all the modules are really cool. So they help in terms of the navigation. I now require less clicks to get to some areas of BigPicture that I want to visit from time to time. I also love the settings that were added to the boxes themselves that allow us to decide now the mode of how the boxes interact with one another in terms of the hierarchy. So auto bottom up, auto top down, and also this setting that allows you to steer the length of the box, which is then dependent on the content of the box. This one is really, really good. Then in terms of all the other modules, I think that the changes made to the board module are really interesting. If you're using the road, or if you would be planning to use the roadmap modules, I think the changes over there, and especially the one that allows you to connect the objectives with the real workable items, this is a really cool stuff that helps the traceability. And also assigning the objectives to people helps with the ownership of that stuff. So that's really, really cool. In terms of the Gantt module that we are looking at right now, nothing really too super fancy. So I don't know if I mean the Gantt module has been already pretty good previously. What I would be looking definitely forward to is some changes to the alternative scenarios that would allow me to change not only the dates but other things as well. I would definitely also love some dependencies on the level of boxes, which I'm still missing right now. But other than that, I think that everything is going in the right direction, and I'm looking forward for the next updates. A word of caution. A word of caution. I've been doing the training with this new version just last week, and during the training, we've stumbled upon several bugs, which is absolutely normal because bugs always exist over here. Most of those bugs are fixed very quickly by software plant team. Some of those bugs are really just very, very specific cases, which probably will not touch most of the users. But I've stumbled upon one of the bugs that is really a showstopper for me currently for this new version, because I have been using this feature with some of my customers. This bug is connected with the narrow down feature in the scope. So if we want to go to the scope definition, and we will use the new shortcut over here. If we go to the scope definition, this is a place where you define how your box is going to be populated with items. I have a project selected over here, and quite often I'm using the narrow down here. So in my case, I'm not, because I don't have too many items in a project. But with this one, you can narrow down and say, for example, that from this project, Jira project, you want to show only a specific subset of elements using the JQL. And this feature, at the moment of recording this video, doesn't work. And that's why I would recommend to wait a week or 2 or 3 until at least this one is fixed before you actually switch to the new version. If you are on a cloud instance, unfortunately, you don't have this luxury of waiting for a new version, so you will just have to bear with what is already there. But I'm sure that SoftwarePlan is aware of it, because I've issued it as a bug, and they said that they're already working on it. So I'm pretty sure that it's going to be fixed in the next couple of days, literally. So nothing to worry about too much at the moment, or by the time you're watching this video, this is probably already fixed. So just make sure that it has been applied already with the new release, and you're ready to go with the new version. Absolutely a blast, and I'm really recommending using BigPicture and all its functionality to help you work with your projects on the level of Jira, which has lots of benefits and which definitely improves the project management aspect of anything you're doing in your company. All right, so having said that, again, I just want to remind you that we are doing all kinds of services regarding the implementation of BigPicture and other project management tools in the Jira infrastructure. BigPicture is definitely our favorite because it's so versatile, so flexible, and it allows you to work both with waterfall and agile and a mix of those methodologies, which is not that often in regards to other tools, and also is very often in regards to how people are actually working with projects. So we are stumbling upon customers that are working a little bit agile and a little bit waterfall all the time. If you're looking for some guidance, some training in this area, definitely reach out to us, and we will do our best to help you as much as possible to help you realize the goals that you have and to help you work with that tool in a way that is actually going to utilize all the best aspects of this tool so that you can reap the benefits of it. Thanks a lot for watching. We will definitely see and hear each other in more videos in the future. For now, take care and have a great day.